So, next in the world of darkness is Changeling. Changeling is my actually second favorite game in the world of darkness. And it is still World of Darkness, but it's a little bit of a departure because... Okay, so the fairy world was cut off from the mortal world with the advent of iron. When iron really started to become prevalent. Until the point where Arcadia, the home of the changelings, was separated from the world. But there were still fairies stuck in the mortal plane. And changelings are the reincarnations of them. They're fairy spirits, changeling spirits, born into mortal bodies. This ties back to a lot of folklore in the idea of the baby that suddenly wasn't your baby. This is quite often in the real world attributed to things like postpartum depression and the like. But in the world of darkness, it's a very real thing. You were not just the child of your mother and father mortals. There was something more to you. You could see a world they couldn't. A world brighter, more colorful, more glamorous. And see, that's the whole trick. Glamour. The energy created by intense emotion is what feeds fairy. And the whole point of the game is trying to survive. Maybe to bring back wonder to the world so that you can continue living. Changeling ran into some problems socially because you can play as a child. And in a setting like the World of Darkness, that can be very troubling. That can be a problem. The World of Darkness is our world writ darker. Murder is more prevalent. Other very hard, grotesque crimes are prevalent. And to play a child in that is a bit problematic. But if you move past that, if you move on to, say, late teens, early 20s, maybe even playing grumps in their 30s, you can embrace the world a little bit more. The whole point of the game is to stave off banality. Now, some people think banality is negative emotion. It's not. Negative emotion is still emotion. It can feed glamour. Banality is the loss of emotion, the graying out. When you look outside, even in winter, you see the stark colors. The blue of the sky, when it's clear, tends to stand out very brightly. Certain houses that are brightly colored really stand out against the snow and the gray sky. The Christmas tree, if you celebrate it, shining inside the house with the colored lights and the green branches, remind you of the vibrancy that still exists. It's just sleeping. And that's just winter. That is the nature of glamour. The fight against the banality, the black and white and gray, the dreariness, that sigh. That's banality. But that's what you're struggling to do. You're struggling against banality. And there are a number of different kiths you can join. You can be a part of. The Boggins, Knockers, Ishu. We'll get into those. As well, there's the courts, the Seelie and the Unseelie, and quite often people mistake those for the good guys and the bad guys, but the Seelie aren't good. Just because they embrace summer and light doesn't mean they're good guys. And the Unseelie aren't all bad guys. Yes, they embrace the bleakness of winter, but that doesn't mean they just want to destroy things. And then we get into some special skills and glamour and banality. And the arts. The arts are the changeling way of doing magic. Not quite like a mage, but rather interesting and fun. Changeling is the most colorful of all the World of Darkness games. If Wraith is the bleakest, and it is, it's all grays and blacks, Changeling is the direct opposite. The book itself has bright primary colors, blues, reds, yellows, golds. It's got it's got kind of a stained glass motif going too. Beautiful little things. Out of all the games, Changeling the Dreaming is the game of hope in World of Darkness. It is hope for something. Vampire is very bleak. You're trying to stave off becoming the beast. Werewolf is very bleak. You're trying to stop the inevitable destruction. Mage is very bleak, but closely related to Changeling in that you're trying to preserve wonder. You're trying to preserve something greater than just boring, bland reality. And Changeling's much the same. You're trying to restore that glamour, that shine and brightness and color. That's the whole point. Changeling can be a fun game to play. If you get a troupe that's enjoying making modern day fairy tales. In a world where you can have to fight gorgons and dragons and creatures only you can truly see. Where you can have to stave off encroaching banality. Where you have to find ways to fight those people in the world that tell you to grow up. Stop daydreaming. Just pay attention to the world around you. Quit fripping away your time. That's the idea. Preserving wonder and joy. So in this series, we're going to go into the kiths. We're going to go into the legacies, Seelie and Unseelie. We're going to talk about some of the special skills. We're going to talk about glamour and banality. We're going to talk about the arts. And in Changeling, we're going to talk about trying to be a hero for a world that's been divorced from ours for so long. People have forgotten about it. And it's slowly leaching joy and happiness and emotion from the world around you. So, will you stand against banality?